So I have an Alice Krige story.
Oh, okay. So Sundance Film Festival 2004, you tripped over Faye Dunaway and spilled a drink onto what's her face from Loser, and then Alex Krige was there with a napkin to help her clean up. Right, that was it.
No, I saw her leaving the apartment below me.
Man, don't even play with me on this whole celebrities were visiting my apartment thing. I'm not gonna buy that. It's not true.
Larry Klein did visit my apartment building once because his daughter lived below me, but that's all I'll say about that.
Cool. Well, I don't know who he is, so he's probably not famous.
Did I say Larry Klein? I meant Richard Klein, who plays Larry on Three's Company. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
I don't know.
Alice Krige, will you?
I don't know if I'll count a Three's Company actor in the 2010s as a famous person visiting your apartment. I am so sorry to all of those actors, but no.
That's fair. No, I have an Alice Krige story, which is, I think I mentioned on a recent episode that you go back. Oh, like it was Lightning Jack, where if you're like me, you have a period where you go back and like watch all of the films from your childhood or your adolescence and like, does this hold up? Does this not hold up? There's another thing for someone like me with horror films, where you try to go and find all of these kind of traumatic moments that live in your brain that before I was into horror, I have all these things that like scarred me. Obviously, the most obvious being RoboCop. I saw that at too young of an age, and the images in that of his hand getting blown off, or the toxic waste at the end. Like, you as an adult go back and try to like relive those and find all of them that like stuck in your brain.
Yeah, the process of going back and revisiting traumatic moments from your childhood is also known as therapy. But continue, please. I guess it's cheaper.
Yeah, this is a cinematic form of therapy. In real life, if I could go back and watch the actual moments from my life that I was traumatized by, I probably wouldn't choose to do that. But
I don't think that would really be beneficial to just go back and passively observe awful things happening to yourself.
Though, I mean, I guess passively observing in your mind's eye the trauma that we relive and relitigate every day of our lives is part of why we need to go to therapy in the first place. But I digress.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you're having a good time. On the mini episodes, we like to be a little more lighthearted and fun.
Well, actually, for one of the things, I'm tangents within tangents here. This film, the research for this film sent me down some really fun rabbit holes, like right down my alleyway. There's this Czechoslovakian animated version of the Pied Piper that is so good. It's like made of wood cutting and stuff. You're rolling your eyes and dipping your hat at me here.
Just I went down a really fun rabbit hole. Next sentence, there's a Czechoslovakian animated film, and it's just like, okay, well, you know what? I have certain kinds of conversations with certain people, and this is very on brand.
Okay, and now we're going to start closing all these feedback loops here. After watching that film, the only sentence that kept going through my head was, aren't we all in some way looking for the piper we didn't pay?
Ooh, wow. Put that in a song.
And I realized later that's technically a haiku.
Wow. Okay, so it's tangents within tangents, and it's also poetry within poetry.
Yeah, it's all coming back. Anyway, there was only like a handful of these traumatic moments from my childhood that I didn't know where they came from.
Yeah.
Like just this weird imagery that lived in my head. One of them was this like green smoke coming out of the bottom of a door, and this green light that was shining behind the door. And like, what? It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
And I learned later it's from the Disney film Mr. Boogedy, which was not the proudest day of my life. But I had this one that I was like, it was until this year, only a few months ago. It was last Halloween, actually. I was at the point of going, okay, it's been 42 years of my life, and I've seen the horror films at this point. Like, yeah. I haven't, like, this is clearly coming from, like an episode of Matlock or something that like I'll never see again.
A spine-tingling episode of Matlock.
There was a spine-tingling episode of Empty Nest that I haven't been able to find again that scared me so much as a kid. I had to have my babysitter turn the channel, and she was so mad at me because it was something she watched every single week, and it wasn't like streaming where you could just watch it the next day. She had to wait till summer reruns for it.
Wait. She couldn't just make you go in the next room? Like what's the who's in control here? Who's running the show?
I was little Prince Fauntleroy for sure.
Oh man, you were little Hansel.
Fauntleroy. Yeah.
Prince Fauntleroy is it's the knockoff version that you get in the bargain bin.
Well, that could also be accurate. Where was I going with this? Oh, yes, Alex Krige. So, there was this image I had of a woman in the back, like the back window of a car, kind of screaming for help, and her hands and face going against it, and the car slowly submerging, and just her, like, the wide, pale face of her, like, terror as she's drowning.
That's fucked
and
up.
I think I saw it where I thought I remember seeing it was at one of these like Universal Studios or MGM Studios, special effects on the lot sort of deals. These special effects shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how much time I spent going down YouTube rabbit holes watching old like VHS recorded footage of people going through those things, hoping to see the footage that someone showed at one point.
Do you have all these awful Google history queries if you go in like old woman drowning in car screaming?
No, I never went that
watch
far.
Lists.
But I came across it just by happenstance this year or last Halloween, which was one of my bucket list books. Don't ask me why. Was Peter Straub's Ghost Story.
Okay.
And I'd always wanted to watch the movie, and I've always kind of been putting it off because I wanted to read the book first. And I finally read the book and then watched the movie. And lo and behold, it's from that movie, the last horror movie I knew I hadn't seen.
What?
And
it's always the last place you look, isn't it?
I know. And the woman that's in the car screaming going down is played by Alice Krige.
Ah. Now, so when you said you had an Alice Krige story, I assumed that meant that you met her somewhere. This is actually just that you had spent much of your life searching for her. So your story is that you saw a movie you saw another one of her movies.
I mean, if you want to boil it down to that, yes.
I'm not trying to diminish it. I think it is very cool, like to be haunted by an image from a movie for a long time and know that you're never going to be able to find it and then find it again. That's huge. That's great. That's awesome.
Yes, but this is to the extreme. This is like the end all be all of that scenario. So like Alice Krige is just gonna be, that was the last of them. Like I don't have any more unearthed movie trauma that I have to revisit. That was the last one. So she's always going to hold a place in my memory, and like that was the thing that I had to discover.
Now, did finally piecing together all of your old movie trauma, did that fixed you, right? Like you're good now, right?
Yep. No more problems.
Totally normal.
So
Everything's complete sanity.
Everything works right. Yep.
I'm trying to think what my what film trauma do I have left that I still need to go back to, because I remember being as a kid very acutely frightened by the clips I'd see of The Shining on all those AFI specials about the best movies.
But you know it was from The Shining.
Oh, I knew what it was from. Yeah, they always did a good job of labeling it. I don't know. I think there's I think there's more commercials that traumatized me, honestly, than actual movies.
That's fair. Yeah, I have a couple of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't have... I think that I buried my traumatic film moments. I think things that really frightened me from a movie, I thought, like, I need to delete that from my brain for my own protection rather than hold on to it and be frightened by it.
Or do they exist where you think they're buried, but they're actually in the dark place, the oven, the white room, the white brick room beneath your psyche, still waiting for your Gretel to go and confront them?
I feel like my white room with a drain pipe in it is just so full of like cringe shit that I did or wrote or said, that like there's not room in there for scary movie moments. It's all just thinking about the fact that for years in high school I went to school every day wearing like clogs and high white socks, like the fact that people could see me.
This podcast is our white room in which we bring our childhood trauma and make it a meal for everyone else.
Man, a really long meal, like a stiflingly long banquet with far too many courses.
We're like Hansel in this movie. He's like, I can't eat another bite, and we're like, fucking eat your meal, man.
Yeah.
That's what you came here for.
Yeah. Guests at the meal being like, oh, so they're doing another cheese course. Oh, okay. Great. All right. Well, I guess this is truly going to be a 3-hour episode. This is a banquet at which every course is a reference to another banquet they had that I may not have attended, which makes it much harder for me to enjoy this particular banquet that I'm at.
Okay, before we get to our normal game stuff here, I have Grimm's Fairy Tales right here.
Yep. Oh, what a lovely hardcover binding on that. It looks very nice.
This is leather bound. It smells of mahogany.
Oh. Wow, man! Just the most frequently used Anchorman quote on OkCupid in 2010.
You know who I got it from? My wife.
Oh.
This is a copy.
I'm not giving you anything for the rest of this podcast. Enjoy just going completely solo on this, you fucking piece of shit.
Okay. Okay, Grimm's Fairy Tales. Now,
we're just gonna get back on track now. We're just gonna be normal again. We're just gonna be a fun little podcast.
As kids, we aren't read this.
Mm-hmm.
We are read, I was gonna say Dr. Worm. Why do I want to say Dr. Worm?
Is that another one of the horror movies? From your childhood? Dr. Worm.
I combined like Dr. Seuss and like Richard Scarry's world.
Busy Town, yeah. Dr. Worm got exiled from Busy Town for practicing medicine without a license. Dr. Worm has an RV outside town where he cooks all of the meth for Busy Town now. Dr. Worm, a real Kid Charlemagne figure for Busy Town.
We're getting distilled versions of Grimm's Fairy Tales in like, child-friendly, with colorful illustrations and like the edges worn off of these stories.
Yeah, certainly. They're not all fucked up in German like the originals.
But the other thing is that there are so many of these stories. There are 211 Grimm's Fairy Tales just in this book.
Oh my god.
And I feel like the majority of what we know are like 12 of these. Tom Thumb, Rapunzel, Cinderella, Snow White, The Frog Prince. Those are the big contenders, right?
The A-listers, yeah.
That doesn't make up 211. So
my math isn't great.
Being uninitiated, know the others what consist of the other stories in here?
No, I frankly do not.
Okay. How would you react if I told you there's 2 other stories, maybe more, of Gretel and Hansel?
Really? Well, is one of the other is the first one Hansel and Gretel, and the next one is Gretel and Hansel? The Grimm brothers just like, we will switch it up. It's a new story now.
No, there's the original Hansel and Gretel, which we all know. There's another story called Clever Gretel.
Oh,
and it's about
ditched Hansel.
Well, I don't know. It's about an older-ish girl or woman. Is it the same Gretel? I don't know. But this one is about her being kind of a housemaid cook, sort of deal.
Yeah.
And
the job she's trying to do in this movie.
The master of the house telling her he's bringing a guest over later and to make a chicken. Make some food for us.
Yeah.
Connections.
Sure.
And Gretel puts this bird together. Doesn't put puts the meal together.
Yeah, it's a Lego chicken. Yeah, sure.
But she's hungry, And so
Oh.
she eats one of the wings off the bird.
Not clever,
she's like,
Gretel.
Well, she gets cleverer, Truman.
Oh, okay, paying off the title.
She recognizes they're going to realize that she ate the wing off of it. So
Yeah,
in order to make it look natural, she eats the other wing off it.
Can't argue with the logic there. I mean, it makes sense.
And then she decides, well, they're not coming back because it's getting late, and her master and his friend have not returned. So she decides to eat the whole thing. Why let it go to waste? That would be such a shame.
In
this day and age,
I've had this sort of logic with like a tray of Oreos, where it's like, well, I've already eaten more than half of them. I may as well just finish them, right?
And then, let's say that we can always go to Ralph's if anyone gets hungry at this party.
Yes, exactly. My white room is Ralph's.
Okay. This is where the clever part comes in. She decides that the friend's here, and there's no bird to serve, and I'm gonna get scolded, or I can tell my master that the friend came in and ate all the food, and I'm gonna tell the friend that the master knows about this and is sharpening his blade to kill him. So the friend runs off scared, and the master's like, my friend ate the food and ran off, and Gretel gets off scot-free.
I don't know if that plan qualifies as clever. I don't know that Gretel is clever in this situation. This is more of like that's like Frasier episode Gretel, frankly. It's relying on miscommunications and people not just being open about stuff to get by.
That is fair. Now, there is another one called Gambling Hansel.
Gambling. Okay, I feel like when Hansel and Gretel split up, their lives both kind of took a turn. Gretel is like implicating people in murders and eating too much chicken, and now Hansel is hitting the casinos.
Well, okay, Hansel has a little bit of a different story. I'll paraphrase this one. He is so enamored with gambling that one day the Lord, capital L, and Saint Peter, capital SP.
Oh, not like a feudal lord, like the Lord as in God. Like God gets involved. How fucked up do you have to be for God to show up at your intervention?
Oh, just you wait, sir. He's so distracted by gambling that when the Lord and Saint Peter visit him at the inn he works at, he kind of disregards them, and they're kind of like, they acknowledge like, oh, he's got a gambling problem. That we gotta maybe address this. And
God planned everything. God created gambling. Why?
But okay,
what did you think was gonna happen?
You're getting
God?
ahead of the story. You're getting ahead of the story here. Saint Peter says, Lord, we got to do something about this dude. He's gonna make some trouble for himself and others. Can you step in? And again, I'm just paraphrasing and skipping around, but they essentially get to a point where the Lord goes, okay, I'll give you 3 wishes, Mr. Gambling Hansel.
He changed his first name to Gambling. That's how much he loves gambling, is he changed his name to properly honor his favorite activity.
Hansel wishes for these 3 things.
Yeah.
A deck of cards that when he uses, he can't lose.
Nice.
A pair of dice that when he uses, he can't lose.
Oh, God, I wish I had that for D&D.
And a fruit tree in which if anybody climbs up, they cannot come down unless he says so.
Curious. I'm interested to see how this one plays out.
Okay, I'm glad you are. So he starts using this deck of cards during gambling, and he wins, and he wins, and he wins until he owns half of the world.
Oh, damn. Wow, no one caught on to this. Quit playing cards with Hansel. He's clearly stacked the deck.
And St. Peter and the Lord from above are looking down on this going, well, that might have been a mistake, God. Not that you make mistakes, but like, I think we got to do something about this.
Yeah. R//atheism
and the Lord's like,
here.
Okay, fine, fucking whatever. Send death after him. Like, if he's dead, he can't gamble. And so
Just really slapshod handling of the situation from the Almighty here. I have complaints.
he sends Death after him.
Yeah.
And Death approaches him while he's playing cards, and he goes, "Okay, you're right. I'll come right with you. Let's discuss it over some fresh fruit and, what this is going to look like.
No.
Go pick some from this tree." And Death is like, "Okay, cool. You finish your hand. I'll go get some fruit." And he climbs the tree. And suddenly, Death is trapped in this tree, and no one dies for years.
Okay, this is clever Hansel. Let's be real. Death got worked over by like a 12-year-old gambling addict?
He's older in the story. I don't know how old he is, but he's not 12.
He's learned some stuff on the road.
He has. He then proceeds to continue to gamble, continue to get everything. And St. Peter's like, "Dude, he trapped Death in a tree. Like, I think you're gonna have to get off your ass and do something here." And God's like, "Okay, fine. He can't gamble on Earth anymore." And so he goes to purgatory.
Shit.
Or he goes to heaven first, and they're like,
Wait. Wait. He cheats.
Well, I'm sorry.
I gambling
skipped
so
part.
hard.
I did skip a part.
Okay.
God goes down and says, "Hansel, you have to let Death down from the tree. People aren't dying. The world is overflowing."
Wait,
And Hansel's
God
like,
is just...
"Okay, you're right."
God just asks him nicely. He doesn't use any of his God powers.
Yeah, and Hansel goes, "You know what? You're right. That's not fair. People need to die. So Death, you can come down now." And Death comes down and takes him away.
Oh.
And first Death takes him to heaven, and St. Peter's like, "Yeah, I don't think your gambling ways are gonna fit in around here. So nah, peace out."
Yeah. Smart.
And then he goes to purgatory, and purgatory is like, "Nah, no room for this here either."
A lot of just overworked middle managers guarding the entrances to all of the different parts of the afterlife.
Then he goes to hell and finds a place in hell to gamble.
Probably some really good card players in hell. That's probably entertaining.
But here's the thing, Truman.
Oh, shit.
Hansel still has his card deck and still has his dice, and he starts gambling in hell.
What about
and
his
he
tree?
Overtakes hell.
What? He conquers hell by gambling. God, why didn't you take his cards away?
So St. Peter goes to God, and he's like, "Look, we gotta fucking fix this. There's no end to this. The universe is gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
Because of this Hansel."
Yeah.
And God's like, "Whatever, kill him. Split him into 100 million pieces."
You should have done that sooner.
So that's what's done to Hansel. He is shattered into 1 million pieces, and each of those pieces have found their way into every existing gambler, and that's why you can never quench your thirst for gambling. And I love when the moral of the story hits. Truman just squints his eyes and backs away from the camera. Like, fuck, I didn't realize this was going to have a fucking moral to it.
Well, no.
I felt cheated.
No, I figured it was going to have a moral. I was just sitting here the whole time being like, what the fuck is the moral of this story? The moral of the story seems to be that God is a pushover, and if you're good enough at gambling, you can conquer the entire universe. I mean,
so that's what happens to Hansel after Hansel and Gretel.
You know what? Oz Perkins, like, do a trilogy. I mean, the second one is going to be kind of a dud. The Gretel movie, not so much. But wow, I mean, that's like the guy in the Seventh Seal who gets worked over by Death in a chess game. He could have taken some lessons from Hansel. Woof.
Yeah. Wow. Even Bill and Ted in The Bogus Journey, I feel like they kind of had a Hansel quality to them.
Yeah, certainly they do love to eat. There's truly, I don't think I'm aware of any literary character who has gone toe to toe with Death and succeeded as hard as Hansel did. I mean, why does Death climb the fruit tree? Like, why not make Hansel get the fruit?
I don't know. It's just like the version of whoever's being Death that year is like, just one of the gullible, like, please all sorts of deaths. Like, oh yeah, no, we can wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, just go do what you have to do. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
No, it's about to just be over here for a minute.
Yeah, death is a people pleaser, and also sounds a little bit like Jay Leno in that impression.
Midwest Jay Leno.
Death is usually just kind of walking around city streets with a camera crew, asking people questions about news stories, and then laughing at them when they don't know.
Oh God. Anyway, I love fairy tales.
Yeah, you learn a
And
lot of
that's
great
the end.
morals from them. This is why Landon doesn't gamble.
I used to gamble, and I stopped.
And a tiny piece of Hansel, came out of you and rolled away in search of a new owner. You pulled Hansel's hair out of your mouth in a very slow and unfortunate way.
Gross.
Yes.
Should we play the trailer game for this?
Yes, we absolutely should.
All right. I tried to do something a little bit different this time. I was actively taking notes on lines from the movie because I noticed, like, in the Poseidon trailer, that really highlighted, like, these are movie trailer lines that are just white noise in the movie. I tried to, like, be on the lookout for them in this. Like, this is such a weird dialogue movie that, like, what words are going to make their way into a trailer for this thing?
Yeah.
And so I was trying to keep an eye out for those, and I got a few.
Okay, very good. I mean, I've got moments. I've got like 3 moments that I'm pulling on. And one of mine might include. So let's see if this overlaps. I think we're gonna get the one scene with the huntsman basically telling them, "Go find foresters. This is gonna be your job," because that is kind of the most clearest statement of objective that you get in the movie. Is the huntsman telling them, "You need to go walk to this place, and if you stray from the path, you'll die."
I completely agree with you there. It's weird though, because it's like you kind of want to base this on as much of the fairy tale as possible. So like you'd want there to be the mother part in there, but you're right. There's no like clear. She's so like mumbly and it's so dour, and she comes at them with an axe. Like none of that is really setup material the way that the huntsman stuff is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good guess.
Okay, great. What do you got?
Okay, an image that I think will be in there is, oh man, just one of the best images from this movie. Her peeking through the peephole into the house, and it's that like triangular peephole.
Yes, triangle.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. With it's all the like embellishments around it, so it's this eye surrounded by stuff on the other side. Yeah. So I mean, it's such a fleeting shot. I almost feel like, cheating to pull that out, but I think it'll be there. I think they're gonna like try to promote this on imagery and stuff. Because A24 movies have kind of blazed a path of like, okay, we're gonna have a really evocative, moody trailer with just a lot of images to make clear what kind of movie this is.
So I got a few lines though that will work. 2 witch lines. One is finders keepers.
That's what she says when she indicates that yes, you can stay with me for a long time. Yeah, but but it's kind of creepy the way she does it. So yeah, I'll give you that. Finders keepers.
And the other one is when she says of Hansel to Gretel at one point, all that's left is to make him delicious.
Yeah, well, that definitely lays out what just the whole dang movie's gonna be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Make him delicious. All right. I got one other image that I think is gonna be there. I know
it's probably the same one I have left here, but
I know you don't like it, but drain witch.
Oh. Sure.
Which pouring out of the drain is a liquid and formulating up into a lady. Drain witch.
Drain witch, yeah. It doesn't give us enough context as to what that the younger version of the witch in the movie. Yeah,
but there's not a lot of context in this movie. Period. Like they're going to be showing us a lot of images without context.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Mine was also a witch imagery, but it was the witch under the triangle frame at the beginning. In the tail
triangle
of the
witch.
Girl with the pink hat.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. Look, I mean, I want to believe that I get to see that cool ass triangle again. I think that's just the thing I really respond to in movies is triangles.
The last I have, which is one more, which
Okay.
is I think
one more thing.
it's the first dream sequence she has when she's in the house and she is following the little girl, and a really kind of interesting sequence in how it's edited together, because it's one of the jump scares where she's kind of walking through the house and then she hears she hears something, and then the editing cuts to the middle of the shot of the girl in the pink hat like running off frame to the left.
Yeah.
Then Gretel goes into the room in which she was, the little girl was.
Yeah.
When she enters the room, like, she's clearly following the little girl who ran off to the left, but when she enters the room, she's looking off to the right. And it kind of gives you this disorienting vibe to it. And then she turns around and sees the little girl standing in the corner with her back to her, like facing the
Blair
corner.
Witching it. Yeah.
Yeah. In the movie, it's really cool. The dream sequence ends with her head just like sliding off.
Oh,
a very unsettling moment.
Yeah, I love that. That was cool.
I don't think we'll see that in the trailer, but we might get like her following the girl to like seeing the back of her.
Okay, yeah. Following pink cap girl.
And okay, last one. It just came to me this very moment.
Just blow up the numbers. Yeah.
Hansel saying, "But I'm hungry." It's Hansel and Gretel. You gotta sell it a little bit on it.
Yeah, but I'm hungry. Okay, but
you can put it in my category.
I'm-
I'll die on that point if I need to.
yeah, we're all dying on the same points. We will hang together or hang separately. Yeah, no.
Anything else?
No, I think there's a good. And let's see, we're going into this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, merely 8. Merely 8 guesses. Hardly anything compared to the 10 we did for Poseidon and got completely wrong.
Well, should we watch this thing?
Yes, let's watch this thing. Let's see what we're gonna see.
I'm called Gretel,
Bonk.
and this rough one here is my brother Hansel.
Jesus. Oh, that's just the pre-roll.
Oh,
God
that was a
damn
fucking
it. I hate
teaser
that.
trailer to the trailer.
Tell me the fairy tale again.
It's too scary, and you'll start
Ooh.
seeing things that aren't there.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about her seeing the shit in the
the
woods.
You've been turned out of your home,
Huntsman?
set out to fend for yourselves with only your clothes and your hides.
This is leaning hard into imagery.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungrier than you are.
You got hungry.
It wasn't the line of him saying, "But I'm hungry."
Eh,
It smells of cake.
it smells of cake. I love him. I love him so much.
Oh, she looked into the people.
triangle.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Yes. Hello, witch.
Oh, man.
Careful with that, dear. I'd hate for you to start something you can't stop.
No, cryptic lines.
So good.
Please make
I
your
want to own this in 4K.
Oof.
I'm called Gretel, and this rough one here is my brother Hansel.
Up. Hair pull. Smell hair.
Oh, the way she smells the hair.
really
Oh,
bad.
it's so unsettling.
Yep. Jumpy
Something
cuts.
wrong here, but it's so pleasant.
Oh,
Where are
I
all
wanted
the
to talk
animals?
about that
And where
bedroom
does she
too.
draw milk?
Oh, we're getting triangle.
This
Hell
is
yeah.
torn
That was
from
so brief, though.
Nope, still counts.
This is your power. To see what is hidden and to take it.
Ew. Ooh.
Snoring, I wouldn't have guessed, but
Yeah.
We were given the same gift, the same magic.
Okay. Oh, getting chased by the zombie guy.
What did you do with him?
hi.
Oh, drain
You
witch.
got the drain witch.
Hell
All
yeah, I
this
got
is
the drain
left
witch.
is to make him.
Up. Oh, God, the hair pulling. Should have guessed that.
Delicious.
They put it on the trailer or the poster.
Yeah, why didn't we guess the hair thing? But all that's left is to make him delicious is in there.
Yeah. Okay. All that's you make him delicious. Okay. Pretty good trailer. I'm gonna say honestly. Yeah. They did a good job. That sells the movie.
Yeah, I can see why I went to go see it.
Yeah. Okay. So we get Drain Witch. Yes. The Huntsman setting up the story. Yes, but he doesn't specifically say go chop
Half
wood.
point.
Half point. All right. Peephole Triangle. Hell yeah. Finders Keepers. No.
Oh, bummer.
Make him delicious. Yes.
3.
Three.
2.5? 3.5.
We have 3.5 now. Yes.
3.5. Okay.
Yes, and then Triangle Witch, the sweetest win of all. So that's 4.5. We don't
4.5.
have her following the pink cap girl, and we
Yeah.
have Hansel talking about being hungry, but he talks about being hungry a lot, and he's not saying that he's hungry in specifically the way that we thought.
It wasn't the
he was gonna say
specific line.
Yeah.
We also
Well,
got.
I'm
We also
hungry.
got.
Yeah, peephole triangle.
What was that we said?
Yeah, peephole triangle.
Oh, I heard people triangle, not peephole triangle.
No,
but
no,
yes,
no, no.
Okay, good.
Yeah. People in triangles. Abadi-da-day. Yeah.
So we got 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Great.
Out of the 8 that we guessed, sure. Yeah. Welcome to a liminal space where numbers have no meaning. Yeah, no, good looking trailer. I guess that's the thing that I do hate about when we do a newer movie is we get that stupid pre-roll
It
at the
tricks me
beginning.
every time.
Which, and especially for a movie like this that is just not, these images aren't meant to be seen that quickly. Like, it's very jarring to get a bunch of this movie chopped up into a 3-second teaser.
Yes, 100%. There's one thing we didn't talk about that I think we'd be remiss if we didn't just mention. I know this mini's getting a little long, but
It's more of a mega, but sure.
Gretel and Hansel, children,
Yeah.
trip balls in this movie.
They do. They eat some mushrooms.
They eat some Mario Land fucking looking mushrooms.
These mushrooms that look more cartoony and goofy and happy-go-lucky than anything else in this very dark and disturbing film.
Yeah.
They eat the mushrooms, and Gretel has this whole thing about, how, some mushrooms can tell you if they're good or they're bad, and she asks this whole question to it, like, are you friendly or not? And then they eat them and go completely nuts. And it's like, I guess the second sight wasn't working overtime for you there, Gretel.
Well, maybe her hunger kind of confused her receptors.
Or maybe she wanted to trip out. Maybe Gretel's cool as hell. Maybe she goes to Coachella.
Yeah, there's a Jacob's Ladder scenario sitting somewhere in that, died of dehydration while tripping on mushrooms, and the rest of the movie is all in her imagination.
Yeah, well, I mean,
blah, blah, blah.
The movie is, like, they only meet the witch after they have the mushroom drug trip, but I also, everything in this world is so goofy anyway. Like, they were not on mushrooms when a zombie chases them out of a house, so...
That's true. That is true. But just an interesting correlation. Another fairy tale that I actually loved at this time was The Green Knight. And I think that came out in 21, 22 maybe?
Yeah, I think it's 2021.
And there is another scenario like that, this of hunger, seeing mushrooms, eating them, and tripping balls in a dark fairy tale scene that happens in that movie.
Hey, you know what? If we've learned anything from moody independent films, be it Gretel and Hansel or Green Knight or Phantom Thread, it's just keep your distance from mushrooms. It's not gonna... You might find some sort of dramatic catharsis through it, but it's not going to be a good experience for you.
Okay, well, is there anything more about Gretel and Hansel you want to say before we wrap this one up?
No, except that I love triangles. I think that's my big takeaway.
Okay, well, whatever we learn about ourselves is valuable in some way.
Yeah, it is.
Let's learn where the machine is sending us next.
Here we go! All right, looks like next we're headed to April 21st, 2006.
Oh no, we're going further back in time. I thought we were getting closer to our actual time.
I don't know. Somehow I get the idea we maybe are going to be happier not going to our actual time for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe let that one
Okay.
settle for a second.
Yeah, I don't know that 2006 is any better, but
Lord knows I have a lot of opinions about what was going on back then. What clue do we have?
all right. The clue says, "Congratulations" with a Z. You're moving on to the next round.
I mean, spelling words with Z's in them in a sort of awkward and ham-fisted fashion was something I was doing a lot on the internet back then. So maybe we're going to watch a movie about V-Bulletin message boards where people were writing fan fiction?
Oh no. Is our next movie going to be based on fan fiction?
No one has forgotten 50 Shades of Grey, so I don't think we have to worry about reading that fan fiction adaptation or watching it. Is anything else in the clue written in Leet speak? Are there 3s or 4s or 1s? No, just the Z.
Not that I can see. No. Just congratulations,
Not-
like it's the movie Existence.
Oh boy, I mean, but people remember Existenz. We're not gonna watch a Bone Gun movie, right?
I don't know. Congratulations, you're moving on to the next round.
Well,
A round of something. So, is it sports, maybe?
oh,
Auditions?
God, I hope
Rehearsals?
Not. I hope not. And it's round, so it's not going to be a triangle, so I'm already bummed about that.
All right, well, I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to join us next week.
Yeah, I only want pointy movies from here on out, so let's cross our fingers that we get that.
All right, well, for Truman Caps, I've been Landon Solano.
And for Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps. Have a great week.
See ya!
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpodcast to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit MovieMemoryMachine.com.